Larry, he played the rest of this game with double vision, and as he described it, he saw 2 baskets for the rest of the game, leaving him to guess which one he had to shoot at. But that's not the best part either.
Bro, my back keep pausing this shit. I ain't gonna lie. Larry Bird is one of my top 3 of all time, bro. No cap.
Did he light
no
Cleveland
cap,
up, but we
no
know
cap.
double vision
that
doesn't go
crazy.
away after one game.
What's good with y'all, boys? We back to get with another reaction video. We got 4 crazy stories that prove Larry Bird is the toughest player in NBA history. Hey, man, y'all keep wanting me to react to these Larry Bird videos, and you know, I'm down, because I like Larry Bird. Hey, I got no problem. Y'all been telling me to react to these videos. We're going to react to them together. Let's get it.
We've all heard the stories about Kobe Bryant, and most of us have actually seen with our own eyes how incredibly tough the guy was, trying to play on a freshly sprained ankle to wheel the Lakers to the playoffs, winning the championship with a fractured finger. He's got a great case for being the toughest player in NBA history. But then there's Larry Bird, and many people don't know it, but he might have been equally as tough, if not tougher than Kobe Bryant when it came to pain tolerance.
What? I ain't gonna lie, tougher than Kobe is crazy, because Kobe took some serious ass injuries and he played through all that shit. But Larry Bird, bro? Oh yeah.
Bird was such a warrior that he often didn't even like to let the team staff know he was hurt. That is until later in his career when his back had deteriorated to an unbearable point. And because Bird was such a warrior, today I want to tell you guys 4 crazy stories about Larry Bird's insane level of toughness. What's up, NBA fans? Dom2K on the mic, and you've probably seen the shots of Larry Bird torturing himself later in his career when his back was forcing him into retirement, but you might not know what allowed him to deal with that pain in the first place. It turns out Larry was dealing with physical ailments even before he entered the league. Before he'd ever played a game with the Celtics, he actually had his knuckle shattered by a baseball that put his professional career in jeopardy. But because he's Larry Bird and Larry Bird is from a different planet, he was able to put together a top 10 NBA career despite not ever having the same shooting touch before he shattered his knuckle. Wrap your mind around.
What the fuck? Excuse my language, but what? Are you serious?
On that for a second. Larry Bird accomplished everything he did in his career, and he said out of his own mouth that he never had the same feel for the basketball after the knuckle injury. But as it turns out, that's just an appetizer compared to what he did.
I'm sorry I keep pausing it, but bro, so you telling me if this dude never had the knuckle injury or the back injury, he would be way better than he is now? That's crazy.
Endured throughout his career.
That's crazy.
Let's jump into it. Number 4, hole in the face. I figured we'd start off with something crazy we've seen before. Remember when Russell Westbrook fell down after his free throw and got a hole kicked in his jaw? Yeah, that left a lot of us wondering if Westbrook was actually Android a human, because he got up, moved his mouth around a little bit, and finished up what was left of the game. Luckily for him, that was only about 1 second of game time. However, it turns out that 33 years earlier, Larry Bird actually had already accomplished this superhuman feat, and surprisingly, he did Westbrook one better. I originally thought there wasn't footage of this on YouTube, but I'm so thankful there was, because you need to witness how brutal this was. In a 1982 game against the Milwaukee Bucks, Larry Bird drove left to the basket and tried to bank in a routine jump shot. It clanked off the rim, Bird went up to rebound his own miss, and was violently elbowed by power forward Harvey Catchings. Where Westbrook's injury was an accident by his own teammate that didn't even look too bad initially, it's a bit difficult to look at this footage and say it wasn't on purpose, and you actually cringe a bit when you see how hard the shot was. The elbow practically knocked Bird out and left him lying on the floor for several minutes as he looked seriously injured. From what I can tell in the tape, the injury appeared to happen before the end of the third quarter, because Larry Bird went back to the locker room and came back out before the period had ended. In the fourth quarter, playing with what we now know was a fractured zygotic arch, Bird would score 8 more points, including a poster dunk, 2 assists, adding some defense and hustle plays, as he was even shoved out of bounds during one of the possessions. His efforts led the Celtics to a narrow win, as he finished with 16 points, meaning he scored half of them with a fractured arch in crunch time, and even though we can't see it on the grainy 80s footage, Bird's jaw was depressed inward the same way Westbrook's was. After Larry left his heart on the floor for his team, he was sent to the hospital where doctors had to drill a hole into the side of his face and insert a medical tool to pop his zygotic arch back out. If social media had been around with clear footage back in these days, this performance would probably be a lot more famous. We were shocked to see Westbrook standing on his own with a hole in his face. Imagine watching Larry Bird play an entire extra quarter while leading his team to the win. Number 3, just give me a beer. It's understandable that Larry dealt with injuries like back problems and broken bones in the face. Those things just tend to happen when you're crashing into the floor and whatnot. But when Larry Bird had a toe infection, it really seemed like somebody was just testing how much he could take before he finally sat out a game. In the year 1985, Bird reportedly had a serious pain going on in his toe for 3 weeks that he played on, and he wouldn't bother to get it checked out because, again, he didn't like to let anybody know he was hurt. Finally, he let the doctor look at his foot, to which it would be found that Bird had a toe infection that would require his toe to be cut so the infection could drain. The doctor insisted that Bird take a shot of Novocaine to ease the pain because the infection was actually between his toes, which was obviously going to hurt a lot, and then Bird responded, "Just give me one of those beers over there." So he used that as his pain medication. The doctor cut 2.5 inches into his toe to let the infection drain. Larry wrapped up the foot and played the exact same night. Unfortunately, I can't find any kind of information on when this game was, who it was against, or anything like that. I can't even see how he performed. But when he got done with the game, the wrap was obviously soaked in blood and he was in considerable pain during the game. If it's anything like the other ridiculous games Bird had after some kind of injury that should have had him sitting for days, it's safe to say he performed well. But the fact that he played with a 2.5 inch cut into his toe with no pain meds is impressive enough for me. Number 2.
You got niggas like Anthony Davis, all these players right now that will fall over and be set out for 6-7 games, bro. AD will get slapped in the face, right? It will be out for months. Like, this is crazy, bro. I don't think you understand how crazy this is, bro.
Double vision. A lot of people can't even shoot when there's just one basket sitting still, so imagine trying to play in a professional game when you fractured your eye orbiter and you're seeing 2 baskets. Now, the injury itself sounds pretty comparable to what Derrick Rose had not too long ago, the difference here being that Rose got hurt before the season and was able to get his problems to a manageable point before playing in a real game. Bird, however, would not be so lucky. In a 1988 game against the Cavaliers, Bird was on fire, having scored 13 points in the first quarter, but when he spun away from Craig Elo with a clear lane to the basket, Del Curry of all people would rotate and hit Bird with a violent elbow to the side of his face. Kind of ironic that before Del was raising the greatest shooter of all time, he was apparently trying to take out the best one of his generation. Anyways, Bird sustained a fractured eye orbiter that again kept him on the floor for minutes. He went on to the locker room for treatment, came back out like he had done 6 years earlier, only this time he would score 18 more points to put the finishing touches on a 31-point game that included 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals on 11 of 20 shooting. But the stats weren't even the most impressive part. According to Larry, he played the rest of this game with double vision, and as he described it, he saw 2 baskets for the rest of the game, leaving him to guess which one he had to shoot at. But that's not the best part either.
Bro, my back keep pausing this shit. I ain't gonna lie. Larry Bird is one of my top 3 of all time, bro. No cap.
Did he light
no
Cleveland
cap,
up, but we know double vision doesn't go away after one game. As we've already established, if there was any other option than to sit a game out, that's what Bird was going to do. He ended up playing 4 more games with goggles that I'm not even sure anybody really knew he wore, and in those games, he scored 36, 30, 28, and 34
top
points.
3, y'all. Top 3
in
all
typical
time.
Larry
Top
Bird
3,
fashion,
bro.
he shot a staggering 55% from the field with that. Violent elbow, fractured eye orbiter, goggles, elite scoring, hitting on over half of his field goal attempts. Again, he's Larry Bird, and Larry Bird is from another planet. Just to add some gore to the story, apparently after the Cleveland game where he initially broke the orbiter, he noticed his nose bleeding after the game. He went to blow it and his eye bulged out a bit. Just a typical day in the life of Larry Bird, I guess. Number 1, Celtic Pride.
Come on with these ads.
Free Fire Max is now available on.
Off my screen, bro.
You hear all this talk about Celtic pride anytime we speak about the history, and Larry Bird contributed in big part to that as his career was wrapping up. Possibly the most famous scene from the ending of his career is the one we've all seen. Larry was diving for a loose ball, goes crashing to the floor as his head bangs against it violently, and he just lays there as if his body couldn't take it anymore. Truth be told, it really couldn't. Bird was dealing with insane back issues by this point in his career, and it was through sheer determination that he was even playing by this point. However, the story behind this scene is that not only was Bird's back locking up on him, but the shot he took to the head actually knocked him unconscious for a second and left him with a concussion that threatened to keep him out of the rest of an elimination Game 5 against the Pacers. By this point, Larry was 34 years old and had missed 22 games throughout the season, and his best days had been stripped from him by an ever-deteriorating back. He sat in the locker room debating whether to go back into the game as Boston had lost their edge without him, and most of the way through the third quarter, the advantage was with the Pacers. When Larry asked the doctor for advice, he said he should be done for the day, but by this point, we all know Larry just wasn't built like that. He was still breathing, so he went back into the game with the Celtics down by 3, while they were being cracked over the head by Chuck Persons, I might add. With Bird back in the game, Boston would go on a ridiculous 33-14 run and went on to win the game by 3 points, sending the Pacers home for the playoffs. Bird finished with 32 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists while shooting 63% from the field. But again, that's not the most shocking part of this story. According to teammates like Robert Parrish, when Bird hit the floor, they weren't sure he was ever going to play again. Remember that this happened at the end of Bird's career, and after back surgeries and having to lay in a fiberglass brace for hours just to be well enough to play, some thought that the fall he took meant the end of his career. And it probably would have been if Larry Bird was from Earth, but instead he went out and put up one of the most memorable playoff performances of all time. The kind of performance that really makes you sad that his career was really cut short by injury. So there you have it. These were 4 crazy stories that prove Larry Bird was likely the toughest player of all time. The crazy part about it, after reading the book he wrote with Magic Johnson and researching a little bit, I could have easily told 10 or more. The truth that people don't really talk about in terms of Larry is that despite his amazing career, it was truly only a shell of what he could have been. As early as 1985, only 6 years into Larry Bird's career, he was already experiencing back issues that resulted from him doing concrete work around his house that he could have paid someone else to do. But that's just who Larry was, an incredibly hard worker that prided himself on being the same type of soldier his father was. Larry cherishes the story about his father when he came home one day from work and had a busted ankle. The next day, the ankle was so bad that Larry had to help him put the shoe on, and his father went right back to work. It was the kind of example that led Larry to play through the ridiculous pain he began to experience really only a short way into his career. Bird played a total of 13 of the most memorable seasons any NBA player could produce, but imagine one of our modern stars only lasting 13 years. LeBron is already on his 14th campaign, Durant is already on his 10th, but what if those guys only played to 13 though? That's just for perspective of what a flash Bird's career really was. And we're lucky that for that short amount of time, he had the high pain tolerance that he did, because if he was actually human and sat out those games that anybody else would have sat out, we would have likely seen even less of him. So in conclusion, I think Bird is proof that there is life outside of Earth, and we really aren't alone. Somewhere out there is the planet Larry Bird came from, where there's extraterrestrial life that apparently doesn't feel any type of pain. Shatter their face, knock them out, just give them a few minutes and they're right back on their feet ready to play. And if they're generous enough, maybe they're going to send another one like Larry to Earth to play in the NBA in the future. But if that doesn't happen, I'm very happy that Larry Bird was a part of NBA history. So I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you learned something. Leave your favorite Larry Bird story in the comment section because I'm pretty sure you guys have some. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications on my video. I'm Dom2K and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Hey man. Oh. Larry Bird, bro. You just moved up to my top 3 of all time, bro. Bro, I ain't gonna lie. Y'all gotta keep seeing me these Larry Bird videos, bro. I fuck with him so heavy, bro. Like, oh my. Bro, Larry Bird was that guy, bro. Like, I didn't even know that. That's crazy. Like, what? Larry Bird was like, bro, this man's literally the toughest player ever. Like, I don't even know what planet he's from. He damn near from my planet like Jupiter, bro, because this nigga's not from Earth, bro. Like, what? That's crazy, bro. Like, golly, that's crazy, bro. Larry Bird, you're inspirational, man. Hey, that's it for that reaction. W video, man. Whoever told me to watch this, hey, shout out to him, man. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Hey, we just almost finna hit 200. Let's get to 200 subs, man. Hey, we out. Let's get it.